Hello, welcome to Nate Flicks. I'm Nate, you are you, and after the first episode of this new Chucky series, I told you guys I was a mixed bag. There were things I really loved and things that kind of gave me some second thoughts. I was like, we'll wait and see. I don't know if I'm here for the long haul. Well, after episode 2, which was entitled, Give Me Something Good to Eat, I'm ready to not just eat, I'm ready to devour and consume all things this series because wow, what a great episode. And I mean, I'm a sucker anyway for a Halloween themed episode. Growing up, I loved me some Boy Meets World, but my favorite episode was always the Halloween episode. Ditto for that 70s show. So this was right up my alley. I mean, a Halloween themed episode of a slasher series featuring a horror icon in Chucky. Yeah, sign me up every time. And everything I talked about last week where I was like, let's see where they go with this. This may not pan out just the way I want to see it. This could get a little ham-fisted or go awry because I kind of have a checkered past when it comes to the vision of Don Mancini. No, this checked all the boxes for me. I love the trajectory of this series so far. I am so interested to see where we're going and I am on the hook. I cannot wait for week 3. And that really all started with the opening of this Halloween themed episode because we again started with a flashback. I think we'll be doing these every week. We go back to the 60s, we see what's going on with the young Charles Lee Ray, and we see that he has come home from a night of trick-or-treating. He's unloading his little trick-or-treating tote on the table, and wouldn't you know it, somebody gave him one of those urban legend razor apples. So does he discard it? Does he take it to his mom to show her? No. He examines it, he thinks about it, and then he takes a big ol' overzealous chomp of this thing, leaving his mouth a garish bleeding mess, and gives you this creepy, nasty little smile. It sets the tone for this episode and lets you know all you need to know about Charles Lee Ray. But also, it's a nice little nod for horror fans because it's an homage to Halloween 1978, John Carpenter's classic. And I know you might be like, oh, another Halloween fanboy seeing John Carpenter and Michael Myers and every last freaking thing. But no, this was intentional. This definitely was intentional. I watched the extended episode where you get little tidbits from Don Mancini himself and the cast, and he said that with this episode, he really wanted to pay it forward. He wanted to kind of reference some of his influences in the films that inspired him, and so we get this moment, and then also later on, if you're still dubious about all this, a character mentions that she knows Dr. Mixter. And Halloween fans will let you know Dr. Mixter is one of the doctors at the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital in Halloween 2. So that paired with the urban legend, paired with a flashback of a creepy child in Charles Lee Ray, great tone setter. And then so was that new title card. I thought each week we're just gonna get the same title card. It would always just be the little doll bits forming the Chucky name and title. But no, that was apparently just for week 1 because this week we got all sorts of fun little Halloween paraphernalia and themed items coming together to give you the title card. So I look forward to what they're doing each week. I think it'll kind of foreshadow what we're going to get with each episode, and I think that's a neat little device. Now last week I talked a lot about wanting to draw out the emotion a little bit more to kind of give things time to breathe, to not be in such a rush, and that's exactly what they did. Because when we go to the modern time and we see what's going on with Jake, we realize it has been a week, which I thought was a smart decision because it gives him time to properly mourn the loss of his father. But we also don't have to sit there and watch all the boring stuff of him getting moved into the new house, kind of trying to figure out how the house works, stuff like that. No, we can just pick up with the stuff that we care about. And I really feel for Jake because this guy, he had kind of a Sophie's choice. But no matter what you pick, it's bad. It's real bad because he could have stayed home another week and been trapped in this giant house where there's really not much for him to do but hang out with Chucky, a killer doll, and then look at a man who has the same face as his newly dead father. Can you imagine? That is right. He's being kind of adopted by his father's twin, which is a terrible scenario to be in. Plus, it has to be even worse for his still developing mind because his psyche is already being kind of twisted and screwed up by the fact that he lost his father, but now he's got to look at this man who looks like his father but acts nothing like his father. Because Jake had a very complicated relationship with his dad. His dad was a little bit abusive both emotionally and physically. And this man, he's got all the resources in the world. He's trying to dote on Jake and try to support Jake and lend him a happy home. And he's trying to give him money and stuff. And that's got to be so peculiar and odd and uncomfortable for Jake. So if I was him and I was given the choice of, hey, you can stay home with us another week, or you can go back to school and jump back in the lion's den with all your bullies and tormentors, I think I would probably take option B and flee to school as well. But I thought that was good writing because once he gets to school, really Lexi is the only person who lacks any humanity, because even the other kids that were rough on him and made his life hell at school, they can kind of give him a break and be nice to him for a little while. I thought that that was a nice touch, and it also establishes a lot about Lexi, and they do a good job with Lexi in this episode. We see more of her backstory, we see how she is at home, and that even her parents don't like her, and as much as her younger sister wants to be like her, that Lexi has no sort of love, no sort of affection for her younger sister. So I actually really like this characterization, and I love the portrayal of the actress because she has me on board. I totally buy in thinking that Lexi is just the penultimate mean girl and that she's just a bitch that we cannot wait to see get dealt with, especially with the conclusion of this episode. But everything they're establishing with these characters is really nice. I mean, we're seeing Jake kind of struggle with his cousin that he's now living with, and I think they're really setting up something interesting there with the junior character, because I think there's more going on there than meets the eye. Last week we saw him kind of leaving Jake out to dry and putting out there that he was gay because he knew it would get a bad reaction out of his father. But I gotta say, I think Jake might be a little closeted or have some sort of sexual identity crisis going on himself, and that might be why he feels so poorly towards Jake. And I think we saw that explored a little bit further in this episode because he has a chance to develop his romantic relationship with Lexi even further. He's a bit hesitant and he has reservations, so I like what they're doing there, and they're doing with a little bit of subtlety and nuance, and we're taking our time with things. That's what I'm saying. We are really kind of developing the emotion and the characterizations and the arcs of all these individuals with a little bit of patience and adeptness. I think that's really nice. But speaking of characters, this is a Child's Play Chucky series, so we gotta talk about Chucky, right? I told you this checked all my boxes. Boy, did this check all my boxes with Chucky. We got to see him do it all in here. He had amazing one-liners, fantastic dialogue that was both funny and mean-spirited. We got a redeeming kill because the kill last week just did not satiate me. It was actually, I thought, in really poor taste and poorly executed, with him vomiting on the feet of the Devon Sawa character and watch him get electrocuted. Did not like the way that was carried out. Thought that was a goofy way to have your first kill. Way too wacky, way too weird. No, this was nice. Because here he takes a seemingly innocent, nice, dutiful nanny slash maid, and he masterminds a trap for her where he goes down, he takes all the biggest butcher knives he can find, and he puts them into the dishwasher, pointy end up. And then when she goes to inspect the dishwasher, she opens up the door, and what does he do? Rushes her, gives her a nice firm push from the rear. She falls down face first, and now we have this nice little scenario where this commonplace household item, this little ultra common item of suburbia, has now been turned into a death trap. And I thought that that was a nice little device by Don Mancini and the rest of the writing staff. That was really cool. That was really neat, especially later when we come back and the body's been sitting there for hours and all of the life has drained out of her. She is gray, and the surface that is so usually puerile sterile, it's usually full of water and detergent. Now it is just coated in her viscera and her leaking head goo. Thought that that was fantastic stuff. Loved watching Chucky scamper about in the background throughout this episode. Thought that was really nice. Thought they had a lot of moments of tension. There is a moment that I alluded to earlier where you see Lexi and Junior on the bed and they're kind of rolling around, and Chucky is beneath them under the bed at random, kind of stabbing the knife, trying to just hopefully get one of them. He never does, but the tension is there. And I thought the first week kind of lacked tension. Here it is. This feels proper. We get funny Chucky, but we also get horror Chucky, and I thought that was nice. Also really liked watching Chucky interact with the young Caroline character. I think we're setting up something nice with that Caroline character. She's at home drawing him. We saw her at the talent show looking at Chucky in awe, so I think they're setting up something nice there. Because we know Chucky's starting to kind of puppeteer Jake and kind of execute this little type of Stockholm syndrome with him and warp him and use him as an accomplice, or at least frame him. Maybe he'll do something similar with this young Caroline character. Like I said, she's drawing him, she's hanging out with them, playing video games. They have a nice little rapport. Interested to see where that goes. Also, real quick, it was really fun to see Chucky go trick-or-treating in a Hello Kitty mask. Thought that was great. Shout out to the real life actor who brought that in. That felt like a nice callback to the roots of the franchise, where sometimes you'd have a little person or a child acting as Chucky instead of an animatronic or a doll. Thought that was a lovely little sequence. Thought that was a lot of fun. Thought it was a highlight of the episode. But also highlight of the episode is the party where Lexi does the unthinkable. After only a week, this bitch has the audacity to dress up in a costume to where she now looks like Jake's recently deceased father. and she's acting out his final moments. She's acting like she's being electrocuted, all while staring Jake in the eye. And I don't know about you, but I would not have blamed Jay for going full Carrie in this moment. Batten down the hatches, lock the doors. Everybody's getting dealt with. How dare they laugh at me? How dare you do this and humiliate me using the final moments of my father's life? What is wrong with you? That is what I'm saying. This character, Lexi, is so easy to hate, so easy to root against, but I think that's a real damn good thing for a slasher character. And it makes us easier to get on board with this gray Jake character, because Jake's got some good to him, he's got some bad to him, and we see him kind of being bent by all of his pain and suffering, and then Chucky as well. Thought this was a really impactful scene, thought it was well done, and it kind of made me drop my jaw, and I did not anticipate that coming into a Child's Play series. Thought I had kind of seen everything they could show me. Nope, they still have some things in store for me. I think that's why I'm so excited for week 3. So be sure to comment your thoughts on the episode, your thoughts on the series. How are you liking it so far? Be sure to let me know, and be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm Nate for Nate Netflix, and that's a wrap.